Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Shri Shri Radha Vinod Vihari Ju Ki Jai Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju Ki Jai Nittil Pravishtam Vishnupara Shatarashita Shishmar Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Gosai Maharaj Shri Guru Dev Ki Jai Nittil Pravishtam Vishnupara Shatarashita Shishmar Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Gosai Maharaj Ki Jai Nittil Pravishtam Vishnupara Shatarashita Shishmar Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Nittil Pravishtam Vishnupara Shatarashita Shishmar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Nittil Pravishtam Vishnupara Shatarashita Shishmar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai Nittil Pravishta Maha-bhagavat Srila Gaurkshara Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Nittil Pravishta Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai Nittil Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Rupa Nagauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopal Bhatta Dasa Gunath Sharda Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Shri Hari Das Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Goho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Kshetra Mandala Gaura Mandala Vraja Mandala Mathura Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Sarva Abhishta Pradatta Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Radha Kunda Shama Kunda Ki Jai Shri Yamuna Devi Ganga Devi Ki Jai Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi Ki Jai Shri Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Shri Purnamasi Yogamaya Ki Jai Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev Ki Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai Jai Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari Ki Jai Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Jai Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata Ki Jai Śrīla Vrindavan Das Thakur Ki Jai The Gaudiya Bhashya of Śrīla Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams Nari Hari Prabhu and Bhavatarani Mataji. Dandavat Pranams to both of you. Hari Bo. Dandavat Pranams. All right, I started a little bit late this morning, so maybe let's just, today I'm not going to sing a kirtan just because we're late, and then, yeah, I'm just going to jump right into it. We'll do the Mangalacharan, and then we'll do the recap. Okay, so... Jnanatimirandhasya jnananjana shalakaya chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha ajanulambita bhujau kanakavadato sankirtanaika pitarau kamalayataksho Vishvambharo Dvijavaro Yugadharmapalo Vande Jagat Priyakaro Karunavataro Namastrikala Satyaya Jagannatha Sutaya Cha Sabhrityaya Saputraya Sakalatrayate Namaha Jai Jai Vishvambara Dvijaraj Jai Vishvambara Priya Vaishnava Samaj Gaurachandra Jai Dharma Setu Mahadhir Jai Sankirtanamoy Sundar Sharir, Jai Nityanandir Bandhava Dhana Pran, Jai Gadadhar Advaitir Prema Dham, Jai Shri Jagarananda Priya Atishay, Jai Vakreshwar Kashishwarir Hriday, Jai Jai Shri Vasadi Priya Varganath, Jiva Prati Koro Prabhu Shubha Drishtipat, Madhya-khaṇḍa Katha Say Madhya-khaṇḍa Katha Jeno Amriter Khanda, Je Katha Shunile Ghuche Antar Pashanda, Madhya-khaṇḍa Katha Bhai Shuno Ekachitte, Sankirtana Aramba Hoilo Jeno Mate. O dear brothers, please hear attentively the topics of Madhya-khaṇḍa, wherein the inauguration of the Sankirtan pastimes is described. Tavai vasmi, na jivami tvaya vina, iti vegyaya devi tvang, nayamang charanantikam. Bhaktya vihina aparada lakshai, kshiptashtaka ditaranga madhe, kripa mai tvam sharanam prapanna, vrinde namaste charanaravindam. Bhaja Śrī Kṛṣṇa Caitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Śrī Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oops. And now, the glories of Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata and Śrīla Vrindavan Das Thakur from Śrī Caitanya-charitamrita. Ore muro loko shuno Chaitanya Mangal. One second. Did I turn off noise suppression? Let me just check. Yes, I did. Ore mura loka shuno Chaitanya Mangal, Chaitanya Mahima Jate Jani Veshakal, Kṛṣṇa Lila Bhagavate Kohe Ved Vyas, Chaitanya Lila Vyas Vrindavana Das, Vrindavana Das Koilo Chaitanya Mangal, Jahara Shravane Nashe Sarvaya Mangal, Chaitanya Nitar Jate Janiye Mahima, Jate Jani Krishna Bhakti Siddhanter Sima, Bhagavate Jato Bhakti Siddhanter Sar, Likhiya Chen Iha Jani Koriya Udhar, Chaitanya Mangal Shune Jadi Pashandi Javan, Sheho Maha Vaishnava Voi Tatakhan, Manushe Rachite Nare Aiche Granta Dhanya, Vrindavana Dasa Mukhe Vakta Śrī Caitanya, Vrindavana Dasa Pare Koti Namaskar, Aiche Granta Korite Ho Tarila Sansar, Narayani Chaitanyer Uchishta Bhajan, Tar Garbe Janmila Śrī Dasa Vrindavan, Tarthi Arbhuta Chaitanya Charita Varnan, Jahara Shravane Shuddha Koilo Tribhuvan, Sahaje Vichitra Madhur Chaitanya Vihar, Vrindavana Dasa Mukhe Amriter Dhar, Vrindavana Dasa Mukhe Amriter Dhar. by nature, all the activities of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu are very wonderful and sweet. And when they are described by Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, they become like a shower of nectar. Jai Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari Ki Jai. Jai Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata ki Jai. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur ki Jai. Jai the Gaudiya Bhashya of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki Jai. Hare Krishna, everybody. Dandavat pranams, Kishore Krishna Prabhu and Seline Jagbandhan. And let's see on YouTube, on Facebook, Rup Manjari Didi and Nitai. Dandavat pranams, everybody. Okay. As you'll notice on the video description, I just wrote a bunch of dots because I had a very long day yesterday. I went to sleep very late, and I was falling asleep. It was like, I don't know, past midnight, and I was falling asleep, and I just couldn't read through the whole thing and write topics. So I'll do that later. But yeah. But yeah, yesterday I went to Govardhan. I did Govardhan Parikrama, and then yeah, Giriraj came to me. So I right now I gave the little Giriraj Shila, I gave him to the Pujari here, because I don't really have everything to take care of him nicely right now, and these next 3 days are going to be very busy, and I want him to get all the bhog offerings and everything, and I just can't do that right now. So unfortunately I can't show you it. But when I'm back in Navadvip, then yeah, that time I'll show everybody. Okay.
Congratulations.
Yes, please bless me that I'll be able to worship, properly worship him, and
Yes.
make any offenses. Thank you.
Okay. I can hardly wait. I will see you there with that.
Thank you. Okay, so no, thank you so much, Prabhu. That really means a lot. Okay, so Chapter 1, the beginning of the Lord's manifestation and his instructions on Kṛṣṇa Sankirtan. This chapter describes, I'm just going to read the summary up to where we are. This chapter describes Mahaprabhu's transformations of ecstatic love after his return from Gaya Dham, his activities of explaining to his students all words in relation to Kṛṣṇa, and his instructions on the congregational chanting of the holy names of Lord Kṛṣṇa. So after returning from Gaya Dham, the Lord began to manifest ecstatic symptoms resulting from feelings of separation from Kṛṣṇa while describing the glories of Gaya. The Lord described topics regarding the holy places. He described the topics regarding the holy place to the devotees. This chapter includes descriptions of the Lord's meeting with devotees headed by Srivas, Shriman, Gadadhar, and Sadashiv at the house of Shuklambar Brahmachari, their astonishment and crying on seeing the Lord's ecstasy and separation from Kṛṣṇa, and the Lord's visits to the houses of Gangadas Pandit and Mukunda Sanjay, Mother Shachi's anxiety for her son and her prayers to Kṛṣṇa on his behalf, the Lord's explanation to his students that the name of Kṛṣṇa is the only purport of all the words in scriptures. I think we'll be reading up to that point, if I'm not mistaken. Let's just read from, let's see. Okay, so, 1 second. Okay, so, as soon as Gaur Sundar returned from Gaya, the entire city of Nadia was filled with the news. All the Lord's friends and relatives came running to see him. Some came early, some came in between, and some came later. The Lord spoke befittingly with everyone, and they all became jubilant on seeing Vishwambar. They all greeted the Lord and they accompanied him home, where Vishwambar narrated the past topics of his pilgrimage. The Lord said, "By the blessings of all of you, I have visited the abode of Gaya without any difficulty." The Lord spoke with such humility that everyone became fully satisfied. Some persons placed their hands on the Lord's head and said, "Live a long life." Others touched his various limbs while chanting mantras. Some placed their hands on the Lord's chest and blessed him with the words, "May Govinda bestow soothing, blissful mercy on you." The most fortunate Mother Shachi was filled with joy and forgot herself while seeing her son. The family of Lakshmi's father, which means Vishnupriya Devi's father, became most happy. And Vishnupriya's distress was, Lakshmi's distress, Vishnupriya's distress was vanquished as she looked at the face of her husband. All the Vaishnavas became pleased. Some of them immediately went to see the Lord. After the Lord humbly spoke with everyone, he bid them goodbye, and they all returned to their homes. The Lord then took a few devotees to a solitary place to discuss some confidential topics. The Lord said, "O friends, please hear about the wonders of Kṛṣṇa that I have seen. As soon as I entered the abode of Gaya, I heard the most auspicious sounds." Okay, I'm going to skip around because we don't have time to read everything. Sorry, I went too far. No. As soon as the Lord repeated the name of Pada Padma Tirtha, tears began to incessantly flow from his eyes. Eventually, the Lord lost all composure and began to cry profusely as he called out the name of Kṛṣṇa. The flower garland became inundated with tears of love, and the Lord sighed deeply while chanting the name of Kṛṣṇa. The Lord's entire body was decorated with hairs standing on end, and he was unable to remain still as his body began to intensely shiver. Shriman Pandit and the other devotees all watched as the Lord cried out of intense love for Kṛṣṇa. Tears of love flowed from the Lord's eyes in all directions, as if the Ganga had appeared there. Everyone there was struck with wonder and thought, We never before have seen him like this. He must have received the mercy of Lord Kṛṣṇa, or perhaps he has seen something wonderful on his way." After a short while, the Lord regained his external consciousness and began to speak to everyone present there. The Lord said, "O friends, please return home today. I will tell you where to come so that we may meet tomorrow. I wish to tell you about my miseries in a solitary place. You and Sadashiv should come early tomorrow to Shuklambar Brahmachari's house." After speaking to everyone, Vishwambar bid them goodbye and then performed his duties. Ecstatic love of Kṛṣṇa was constantly visible in the body of the Lord, and he became most renounced in his dealings. Mother Shachi could not understand the conduct of her son, yet she was overjoyed to see him. As the Lord wept, he cried out the name of Kṛṣṇa. His mother saw that the courtyard had become flooded with tears. The Lord cried out, "Where is Kṛṣṇa? Where is Kṛṣṇa?" While calling out in this way, his love incessantly increased. His mother could not understand anything, therefore she sought the protection of Govinda with folded hands. As the Supreme Lord began to manifest himself, innumerable universes rejoiced. Devotees immediately came when they heard about the auspicious beginning of the Lord's distribution of love. All the Vaishnavas who came to see the Lord were warmly greeted by him. "Meet tomorrow at Shuklambar's house, where I will submit my sorrows to you in seclusion." Shriman Pandit was filled with joy. He was delighted to see the Lord's wonderful manifestation of love. After performing his duties early the next morning, he took a basket and happily went to collect flowers. In the house of Srivas, there was a kunda flower tree that appeared like the incarnation of a kalpa vriksha. The Vaishnavas picked from that tree as many flowers as they liked, but the supply of flowers always remained inexhaustible and undiminished. After rising in the morning, all the devotees would regularly meet there to gather flowers. Gadadhar, Gopinath, Ramai, and Srivas all enjoyed transcendental mellows while discussing topics of Kṛṣṇa as they picked flowers. At that moment, Shriman Pandit arrived there with a smile on his face. They all said, "It seems you are very happy today?" Shriman Pandit replied, "There is, of course, a good reason." The devotee said, "Well, please explain." Shriman Pandit said, "Please hear the reason. A most wonderful and most impossible incident has occurred. Nimai Pandit has become the greatest Vaishnav. Hearing that he has happily returned from Gaya, I went to greet him yesterday afternoon. Everything he said revealed his utmost aversion to the world. He did not display any arrogance for even a moment. quite opposite to how he was before he went to Gayadam. Before he went to Gayadam, he was, Nimai Pundit, and, always debating everybody, and he didn't show any devotion to Krishna, but then when he came back, he was completely transformed. So he did not display any arrogance for even a moment. In a secluded place, he began to speak about Krishna and the wonders that he had witnessed at various places. As soon as he mentioned the name Parapadmatirtha, the area around him became filled with his tears. His entire body began to tremble, and all the hairs on his body stood on end. Calling out, "Oh Krishna!" he fell to the ground. When he fell unconscious, there was no sign of life in his body. After a while, he regained his external consciousness with a startled motion. Then finally, he began to shed tears as he called out the name of Krishna. It appeared as if Ganga herself was flowing from his eyes. By the devotion that I have seen in him, I no longer consider him an ordinary human being. On regaining external consciousness, he said only, "Let us meet at Shuklambar's house early tomorrow morning. I wish to reveal my distress to you, Sadashiva and Murari Pandit." That's all he said. There is every reason to believe this most auspicious news that I have given you. On hearing this news from Sriman Pandit, the devotees triumphantly chanted the name of Hari. The magnanimous Srivas was the first to speak. "May Krishna increase our family. Gotram nu vardatam iti." May our family increase. All the devotees happily discussed the topics of Krishna. A most auspicious and enchanting sound vibration arose. All the devotees repeatedly exclaimed, "May it be so, tatastu, tatastu." Let everyone worship the lotus feet of Krishna Chandra. In this way, after picking flowers, all the devotees returned to their homes to perform their daily worship. Sriman Pandit went to the house of Shuklambar Brahmachari on the bank of the Ganga. After Gadadhar Prabhu heard the news, he quickly went to the house of Shuklambar. Thinking, "Let me hear what topic..." One second. Just need to drink some water. So, Gadadhar Pandit, who is Srimati Radhika, Vishwabhanunandini Srimati Radhika, and completely directly Srimati Radhika, who came to this pastime to assist Mahaprabhu in experiencing her moods. So she thought, Gadadhar Pandit thought, let me hear what topics of Krishna he will relate. And so Gadadhar hid inside Shuklambar's house. Soon, devoted companions of the Lord like Sadashiv, Murari, Shriman, and Shuklambar all gathered there. At that time, Vishwambar, the king of the twice-born, arrived there to meet the assembled devotees. They all greeted him in great happiness, but the Lord did not manifest any external vision. As soon as the Lord saw the devotees, he began to recite verses glorifying the characteristics of devotional service. "I attained my Lord, but oh, where has he gone?" Saying this, the Lord fell to the ground while holding a pillar. The pillar of the house broke under the pressure of the Lord. As he fell to the ground, his hair scattered, and he lamented, "Where is Kṛṣṇa?" As soon as the Lord fell to the ground, exclaiming, "Oh Kṛṣṇa!" all the devotees tottered, and also fell to the ground. Gadadhar Pandit fell unconscious within the room. Remember, he's hiding in the back room, so he fell unconscious within the room. No one knew who fell on whom. All the devotees lost consciousness due to ecstatic love of Krishna, and the goddess Jahnavi smiled in amazement. After some time, Vishwambar regained his external consciousness and began to cry loudly and piteously while calling out the name of Krishna. "O Krishna, O my Lord, where have you gone?" Saying this, the Lord again fell to the ground. The son of Shachi cried out of love for Krishna, and all the devotees surrounding the Lord also cried loudly. Again and again the Lord fell to the ground with great force, but due to ecstatic love, he could not feel anything. The sounds of chanting and crying in ecstatic love combined to fill the house of Shuklambar with love of God. After some time, Vishwambar became pacified and sat down, yet the current of ecstatic love continued to flow. The Lord then inquired, "Who is inside the room?" Shuklambar Brahmachari replied, "Your Gadadhar is inside." Gadadhar bent his head down and cried. Seeing this, Lord Vishwambar became greatly satisfied. The Lord said, "O Gadadhar, you are indeed most fortunate. From your childhood, you have firmly fixed your mind on Kṛṣṇa. I have passed my time in useless endeavors. Although I obtained that priceless treasure, by the arrangement of Providence, I have lost it." After saying this, Vishwambar again fell to the ground, and his entire body, which is worshipable to everyone, became covered with dust. The Lord repeatedly regained consciousness and repeatedly fell unconscious. Although he hit the ground with his nose and face, he was protected by Providence. He could not open his eyes due to excessive tears of love. Other than the name of Kṛṣṇa, nothing issued from his beautiful mouth. Hare Krishna, Shubhananda Prabhu. And Champak Mataji. Haribo. Grasping the necks of those present, Vishwambar wept and asked, "O brothers, tell me quickly, where is Kṛṣṇa?" Seeing the earnest longing of the Lord, all the devotees cried. They were all unable to speak. The Lord said, "Please relieve my distress. Bring me the son of Maharaj Nanda." After saying this, the Lord sighed deeply and wept repeatedly. His hair was unbound and trailed on the ground. The whole day passed like a moment in this blissful state. Then the Lord took leave of the devotees for a short time. The devotees headed by Gadadhar, Sadashiv, Shriman Pandit, and Shuklambar were all filled with amazement. They were all speechless and even lost external consciousness after seeing the transformations of ecstasy displayed by the Lord. They all joyfully went to the community of Vaishnavas and narrated in detail the entire incident. Hearing the news, all the great devotees chanted Hari Hari and began to cry. They were all amazed to hear about the wonderful display of love. Some of them said, "Maybe the Supreme Lord has manifested." Others said, "If Nimai Pandit becomes a good devotee, then we can easily tear off the heads of the atheists." Some of them said, "Know for certain that this is one of Kṛṣṇa's mysteries. There is no doubt about it." Others said, "By associating with Ishwar Puri, he must have seen some manifestation of Kṛṣṇa at Gaya." In this way, all the devotees happily discussed various topics among themselves. They all jointly blessed the Lord with the words, "May he be the object of Kṛṣṇa's mercy." All the devotees began to perform kirtan in ecstasy. Some of them sang, some danced, and some cried. In this way, all the devotees happily passed their time as the Lord remained absorbed in his own mood. Returning to partial external consciousness, Vishwambar went to the house of Gangadas Pandit. The Lord offered his disciples at the lotus feet of his teacher, who immediately got up with respect and embraced the Lord. His Guru said, "Glorious is your life, dear son, Bap. You have delivered both your father's and mother's families. Your students know only you as their teacher. They would not open their books for even Lord Brahma." They only know you as a teacher. They wouldn't even open up the books for Lord Brahma. "Now that you have returned, you should begin teaching from tomorrow. Today, go home." After offering obeisances to his Guru, Vishwambar departed. Surrounded by his students, he appeared like the moon amidst the stars. The Lord then went to the house of Mukunda Sanjay, where he sat down within the Chandi Mandap. Accompanied by his relatives, the most pious Mukunda Sanjay experienced unlimited happiness. The Lord embraced Purushottam Sanjay and drenched his body with tears. All the ladies made auspicious sounds, and the house of Mukunda became the abode of supreme happiness. After glancing mercifully on everyone, Mahaprabhu returned to his house. Upon arriving at his house, the Lord sat at the doorstep of his Vishnu temple, where he affectionately bid farewell to his students. Everyone who came to greet the Lord was unable to understand his characteristics. They found none of the arrogance that the Lord had previously exhibited. Rather, they found him always in a renounced mood. Mother Shachi was unable to understand anything of her son's behavior. She simply worshipped the Ganga and Lord Vishnu for her son's welfare. She prayed, "O Krishna Chandra, you took away my husband and you took away my son. Now I only have this one son left. O Krishna, I have no one to protect me. Please give me the benediction that Vishvambar may peacefully remain at home." Mother Shachi purposely brought Vishnupriya and had her sit in front of her son. Although the Lord gazed at her in her direction, he did not actually see her. The Lord constantly recited verses and cried as he continually implored, "Where is Krishna? Where is Krishna?" Sometimes he roared loudly in such a way that Vishnupriya Devi ran away in fear, and Shachi became frightened. Due to feelings of separation from Krishna, the Lord could not sleep at night. He would feel so uncomfortable that sometimes he would get up from his bed, sometimes he would lie down, and sometimes he would just sit there. As soon as the Lord saw a materialistic person, he would conceal his internal mood. Every morning, he would go to take bath in the Ganga. As soon as the Lord returned from taking bath in the Ganga, his students would assemble there. The Lord did not explain anything other than Krishna, so the students could not understand anything. By the students' request, the Lord began to reveal the glories of the Supreme Lord to them. The students opened their books while chanting the name of Hari. The son of Mother Shachi was greatly pleased to hear this. On hearing the name of Hari, the Lord lost all external consciousness. When the jewel of the twice-born cast his merciful glance on everyone then the jewel of the twice-born cast his merciful glance on everyone there. Being fully absorbed in Krishna, the Lord explains the names of Hari in all the sutras, aphorisms, and commentaries. Sutra Vritti Tikai. He explained the name of Hari. The Lord said, "The holy names of Krishna are the eternal truth. All scriptures explain Krishna and nothing else. Krishna is the supreme controller, the creator and maintainer and the annihilator. Everyone beginning from Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva is his servant. The life of anyone who gives up the lotus feet of Krishna and explains things as separate from him is useless as a result of his false statements. The philosophies in all scriptures headed by the Agamas and Vedanta describe the wealth of devotion to the lotus feet of Krishna. Teachers bewildered by the illusory energy of Krishna give up the devotional service of Krishna and take to other paths. Lord Krishna is the ocean of mercy, the life and soul of the universe, the lover of his servants, and the darling son of the cowherd Nanda." Okay, so that's where we read up to yesterday. Sorry, I didn't do a summary. I just read every verse because it was too difficult. Maybe Kishore, if you could do the summary tomorrow, that would be really great. I'm not very good at summarizing. Okay. He no Krishna name jar nahi rati mati Podiya o sarva śāstra tahara durgati. Even if one studies all the scriptures, if he has no affection or inclination for the name of Krishna, he is certainly degraded. Gaudiya Bhashya. By giving up, Gaudiya Bhashya by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada. By giving up Vidvad Rudhi and accepting Agya Rudhi, and we heard Vidvad Rudhi is a very learned understanding of the deep meaning, the essence of what's being explained. That sometimes the hidden meaning also, and the Agya Rudhi is the ignorant understanding. So it says by giving up Vidvad Rudhi and accepting Agya Rudhi. Okay, yeah. So by giving up this learned understanding and accepting the ignorant understanding, a learned scholar, in spite of having studied all the scriptures, does not develop any taste for the transcendental names of Krishna. Such a proud, self-proclaimed scholar is simply an unfortunate ass-like traveler to hell, rather than a swan-like person. Oh, we read that yesterday. I think this is where we left off. Yeah, okay. Daridra adhama jadi loy Krishna nam, sarva dosha thakile o jai Krishna dham. If a poor fallen person takes to chanting the holy names of Krishna, he attains the abode of Krishna in spite of having many faults. 1 second, just checking in the comments again. Oops. Oh, thanks, Manjari Didi. And Haribo, Sudevi Didi, Raseshwari Mataji, Ganga Mataji. Haribo, everybody. Okay. E mata shakala shastrer abhipray, ihate sandeha jar, she dukha pai. So wait, let's read the previous verse again. If a poor fallen person takes to chanting the holy names of Krishna, he attains the abode of Krishna in spite of having many faults. And then Mahaprabhu says, this is the purport of all scriptures. Anyone who doubts this fact suffers. Krishner bhajana chari jay śāstra vakhane, she adhama kabhu śāstra marma nahi jane. Anyone who explains the scriptures without referring to the worship of Krishna is a fallen soul who does not know the purport of the scriptures. Gaudiya Bhashya. Those who have accumulated heaps of impious activities in previous lives and thus give up Krishna's worship, which is the only purport of all scriptures, and who do not explain the scriptures based on devotional service. In other words, those who accept the unfavorable non-devotional processes of anyabhilash, karma, gyan, and yoga as processes for achieving the goal of life, and dharma, artha, kama, and moksha as the goals of life, such persons are actually ignorant of the real purport or intention of the scriptures. One should carefully discuss the following verses from the Shrutis, Smritis, and Puranas. The Chandogya Upanishad 6.14.2 states, Acharyavan Purusho Veda. One who follows the disciplic succession of acharyas knows things as they are. The Shvetashvatar Upanishad 6.23 states, Yasya deve para bhaktir yatha deve tata guru, tasyaite katita hyarta prakashante mahatmana. Only unto those great souls who have implicit faith in both the Lord and the spiritual master, only to that person are all the imports of Vedic knowledge automatically revealed. The Katha Upanishad 1.2.23 states, Nayamatma pravachanena labhyo namedayana bahuna shrutena yamevaisha virnute tena labhyas tasyaisha atma virnute tanung swam. The Supreme Lord is not obtained by expert explanations, by vast intelligence, nor even by much hearing. He is obtained only by one whom he himself chooses. To such a person, he manifests his own form. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 11.11.18, it is stated, Shabda Brahmani Nishnato na nishnayat pare jadi Shramastasya Shamapalo Hyadhenum Ivarakshata. If one is learned in Vedic literature, but is not a devotee of Lord Vishnu, his work is a useless waste of labor, just like the keeping of a cow that does not give milk. The Srimad Bhagavatam 10.14.29 further states, Atapite deva padambu jadvaya prasara leshanu grihita evahi janati tattvam bhagavan mahimno nachanya eko pichiram vichinvan. Prayers by Lord Brahma. My Lord, if one is favored by even a slight trace of the mercy of your lotus feet, he can understand the greatness of your personality. But those who speculate to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead are unable to know you, even though they continue to study the Vedas for many years. Shastra na jane marma adhyapana kore, kardabhera pray jeno śāstra bahi more. Those who do not know the purport of the scriptures, yet teach them to others, are simply like asses, carrying the load of the scriptures. Gaudiya Bhashya. Those who study the scriptures are of two types. One group consists of those who carry the burden of the scriptures, like cows or asses, and the other group consists of those who extract the essence of the scriptures, like honeybees. The purport is that to gratify their material senses, ass-like teachers, induced by agya-rudhi and ignorant of the actual purport of the scriptures, do not explain that the goal of life is unalloyed service to Lord Kṛṣṇa, the husband of Saraswati, the goddess of transcendental knowledge. Just as cows and asses are unable to relish the sweetness of honey or sugar kept in a jar, the study and teaching of the Vedas by such ass-like proud, so-called learned scholars who uselessly labor hard like foolish animals is completely useless and meaningless. Being bewildered by Maya, those foolish persons then mistakenly accept other equally qualified ass-like people as learned. But actually, for intelligent swan-like devotees who know the causes of bondage and liberation, to be addressed as learned scholars is most befitting and appropriate. Yes, for this, it's most befitting and appropriate to call the intelligent swan-like devotees who know the causes of bondage and liberation. We can address them as learned scholars. In Śrīmad Bhāgavatam 4.29.44, Narad Muni speaks to the saintly King Prachini Bharhi as follows. Adapi vachas patayas tapo vidya samadhibhi pashyantopi na pashyanti pashyantam parameshwaram. Although expert speakers continually deliberated on the strength of austerity, knowledge, and samadhi, they could not fully know the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who witnesses all things. Okay, so Mahaprabhu continues. Pori ashuniya loka gelo chare khare Kṛṣṇa maha mahotsave vanchila tahare. People obtain death and destruction through such study of the Vedas, and as a result, they are deprived of the festivals of Lord Kṛṣṇa. Putanare je prabhu koila mukti dan, heno Kṛṣṇa chari loke kore anya dhyan. The Lord awarded liberation to Putana, yet people still leave aside Kṛṣṇa to meditate on others. Gaudiya Bhashya. In spite of the hellish mentality of Putana, who is the personification of deceit and who desired to kill Kṛṣṇa, the Lord delivered her from that mentality, which is born of enmity to Kṛṣṇa, and awarded her the rarely attained spiritual abode. Only those who are fortunate enough to consider the glories of the matchless and causeless mercy of Kṛṣṇa can understand that no comparison or limit to that mercy may be found in either the material worlds or the transcendental spiritual worlds. Therefore, no one other than the most unfortunate, unintelligent, foolish, hellish person gives up service to the lotus feet of Kṛṣṇa, which is the topmost occupational duty. Only and that unfortunate person contemplates our endeavors for anything else. In the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam 3.2.23, Sri Uddhav speaks to Vidura as follows. Aho vakiyam stanakala kutam jigang Jighamsaya payayad apyasadvi lebe gatim datruchitam tatonyam kangva dayalum sharanam vrajema. Alas, how shall I take shelter of one more merciful than he who granted the position of mother to a she-demon, to Putana, although she was unfaithful and she prepared deadly poison to be sucked from her breasts? Uddhav offers the following prayer to Lord Krishna in the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam 10:48-26. Ka panditastvar aparam sharanam samiyad bhakta priyadrita gira suhrida kritagyat sarvan dadati surido bhajato bhikaman atmanam apyupachaya pachayo nayasya. What learned person would approach anyone but you for shelter, when you are the affectionate, grateful, and truthful well-wisher of your devotees? To those who worship you in sincere friendship, you award everything they desire. You reward everything they desire, even your own self, yet you never increase or diminish. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya 22:95 and 97, it is stated, Bhakta Vatsala Kritagya Samartha Vadanya Heno Krishna Chari Pandita Nahi Bhaje Anya Vigya Janer Hoy Jadi Krishna Guna Gyan Anya Tyajik Bhaje Tate Uddhava Praman. Lord Krishna is very kind to his devotees. He is always very grateful and magnanimous, and he possesses all abilities. A learned man does not give up Krishna to worship anyone else. Whenever an experienced person develops real knowledge of Krishna and his transcendental qualities, he naturally gives up all other engagements and renders service to the Lord. Uddhav gives evidence concerning this. So Mahaprabhu continues. Agasura heno papi jay koila mochan kon sukhe chade lok tahar kirtan. For what happiness will someone give up the glorification of he who delivered the most sinful Agasura? Jai Krishner name hoy jagat pavitra na bole dukhita jiva tahar charitra. The entire world is purified by the name of Krishna, yet the wretched living entities abstain from chanting his glories. Jai Krishner Mahotsave Brahmadi Vival Taha Chari Nritta Gite Kore Amangal. Even the demigods headed by Brahma are overwhelmed by Krishna's festivals. Yet people give up such festivals and take pleasure in inauspicious dancing and singing. Ajamila nistarila jai Krishner name dhana kula vidyamade taha nahi jane. The holy names of Krishna delivered Ajamil, yet those who are intoxicated by wealth, good birth, and education do not know him. Gaudiya Bhashya. One should refer to the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam 6th Canto, Chapter 1, verses 21-68, and Chapter 2 for a description of Ajamil's deliverance through Krishna Namabhas, a glimpse of offenseless chanting of Krishna's name. The second line of this verse is confirmed in Kunti's prayer to Krishna in the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam 1:8-26. Janmaishwarya Shuta Shribhir E Dhamana Mada Puman Naivarhatya Bhidatum Vai Tvam Akinchana Gocharam. My Lord, your lordship can easily be approached, but only by those who are materially exhausted. One who is on the path of material progress, trying to improve himself with respectable parentage, great opulence, high education, and bodily beauty, that person cannot approach you with sincere feeling. 165. Shuno bhai sab satya amar vachan, bhajoho amulya Krishna pada parmadhan. O brothers, please hear my truthful statement. Worship the invaluable wealth of Krishna's lotus feet. Gaudiya Bhashya. Prabodhananda Saraswati has written in his Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata verse 90, O devotees, give up all unfavorable bodily and mental activities that are contrary to the pleasure of Krishna's senses and become attached to the lotus feet of Gauranga Chandra. Jai charana sevite lakshmir abhilash, Jai charana seviya shankara shuddhadas, Jai charana hoite janavi parakash, Heno para parma bhai, sabe koro ash. O brothers, may you all desire to attain the same lotus feet that Lakshmi desires to serve, the same feet by whose worship Lord Shiva has become known as a pure servant, and the same lotus feet from which the Ganga emanated. Dekikar shakti ache e navadvipe, khanduka amar vyakhya amar samipe. Who in Navadvip has the power to refute my explanations before me? Param Brahma Vishwambar Shabda Murti Moy, Je Shabde Je Vakhanena She Satya Hoy. Vishwambar is a supreme Brahman and the personification of transcendental sound. Therefore, whatever he explains is the supreme truth. Gaudiya Bhashya. Sri Vishwambar, the Lord of the spiritual world and the maintainer and nourisher of the animate and inanimate worlds, is directly the supreme Brahman and personification of transcendental sound. Therefore, he is the husband of Saraswati, the goddess of transcendental knowledge. Any word that Lord Vishwambar explains to the eternal, pure, complete, eternally liberated, spiritual, and most important Vidvaduruti, as related to Krishna, is reality. And that is the supreme truth. Mohita parua sab shune ekamane, Prabhu o vivala hoy satya she vakane. The students were captivated as they heard the Lord's explanations with undivided attention, and the Lord also became overwhelmed while he explains the truth. Sahaje shabda matre Krishna satya kohe, Ishwar je vakanibe kichu chitra nahe. Every word inherently establishes Krishna as the supreme truth. So there is no wonder that the Lord should explain it in this way. Gaudiya Bhashya. Any word manifested from the pure spiritual sky and received by the eternally pure sense of hearing smeared with the ointment of love is certainly non-different from the eternal primeval absolute truth, Krishna. Therefore, it is not very wonderful or astonishing that the Supreme Lord Sri Vishwambar, who is devoid of the four defects of mistakes, illusion, cheating, and imperfection that are found in living entities, it's no astonishing thing that he will explain the meaning of every word through the eternal, pure, complete, eternally liberated, spiritual, and most important Vidvad Rudhi. Kṣāne ke hoila bahya drishti vishwambhar, lajita hoya kichu kahaye uttar. After a while, Vishwambar regained his external consciousness. Feeling somewhat embarrassed, he began to inquire, Aji ami kemoto she sutra baka nilu, parua shakala bole kichu na bhujilu. How was my explanation of the sutras today? The students replied, We have not understood anything. Jata kichu shabde vaka na ho Krishna matra, bhujite tomar vyakhya keba ache patra. You explained every word simply in relationship with Krishna. So, who is the proper candidate for understanding your explanations? Hasi bole Vishwambar, shuno sab bhai, punti bhando aji chalo, Ganga snane jai. Vishwambar smiled and said, "Listen, brothers, pack up your books for today and let us go take bath in the Ganga." Bandhila pustaka shabe prabhur vachane, Ganga snane cholilen Vishwambar sane. Being instructed by the Lord, the students packed up their books and went with him to take bath in the Ganga. Ganga jale keli kore Prabhu Vishwambar, samudrer maje jeno purna shashadhar. As Lord Vishwambar sported in the Ganga, it appeared that the full moon was rising from the middle of the ocean. Gaudiya Bhashya. The analogies and descriptions attributed to the Lord in this verse and the following verses, 182 to 184, reveal the poetic genius of the author. Okay, 82 to 184. Let's see that. We'll see that. Ganga jale keli kore Vishwambhara rai, Parama sukriti sava dekhe nadiyai. Vishwambar sporting in the water of the Ganga was seen by the most pious inhabitants of Nadia. Pramadir abhilasha je rupa dekhite, Heno Prabhu vipra rupe khele she jalete. The same Lord that personalities such as Brahma desired to see was now sporting in the water in the form of a Brahmana. Ganga ghate snan kore jato shabajan, sabai chahen gora chandrer vadan. All those persons who were taking bath at the bathing ghats of the Ganga, they gazed at the face of Lord Gaurachandra. Anyonye sarvajane kohoye vachan, dhanya mata pita jar eheno nandan. They all remarked to one another, "Glorious are the father and mother of such a son." Gangar barilo prabhu parashe ullas, anande koren devi taranga prakash. Being touched by the Lord, Goddess Ganga became joyful, and out of delight, she manifested her agitation in waves. Taranger chale nritya koren janavi, Ananta Brahmanda jar pada juge sevi. Janavi thus danced in front of the waters to worship the Lord. Janavi danced in the form of waves to worship the Lord, whose feet are served by innumerable universes. Chaturdike prabhure bediya jhanu sutta, Taranger chale jal de alakita. The daughter of Janu encircled the Lord on all sides and showered him with her waters while remaining unseen. Vede matra e sava lilar marma jane, Kichu sheshe vyakta hobe shakala purane. The purport of these pastimes is known only to the Vedas, but later some of these pastimes will be revealed by the Puranas. Snana kori grihe ailen Vishwambhar, Chalila parua varga jatha jar ghar. After completing their bath, Vishwambar and his students returned to their own homes. Vastra parivarta kori dhuila charan, Tulasire jal diya korila sechan, Jatha vidhi kori Prabhu Govinda pujan, Asiya boshila grihe korite bhojan. The Lord changed his clothes, washed his feet, and then offered water to Tulsi. Then, after properly worshipping Govinda, the Lord came inside and sat down to take his meal. Gaudiya Bhashya. Unless a person properly initiated in the chanting of Vishnu mantras includes Tulsi manjaris in his offering of foodstuffs, Lord Vishnu will not accept the offering, because Tulsi is the eternal maidservant of Kṛṣṇa, and therefore her leaves and flowers, or manjaris, are certainly dear to Keshav. It is prescribed that one should offer Tulsi manjaris in worship to the deity form of Śrī Govinda, for Tulsi has incarnated in the form of a tree. The arrangement for offering Tulsi manjaris in worship to the deity form of Lord Vishnu is confirmed by all transcendental Vaishnava smritis. After worshipping Sri Tulsi in her manifested worshipable form as Tadiya by sprinkling water on her, Sri Gaurasundar worshipped his family deity, Śrī Govinda. In other words, he offered pure worship to the deity form of Vishnu. By performing this pastime, the Lord set the ideal example of mandatory daily duties for God-conscious householders. Every Vaishnava householder should follow this ideal example of the Lord by engaging in the worship of the deity form of Lord Vishnu, by accepting with faith and humility the remnants of foodstuffs offered to the Lord. Tulasir manjari sahita divya anna maye ani sammukhe korila upasanna. Mother Shachi bought fine cooked rice with the tulsi flower on top and placed it before the Lord. Vishvaksene re tabe kori nivedan ananta brahmandanat koren bhojan. After offering foods to Vishvaksen, the Lord of innumerable universes began to eat. Gaudiya Bhashya. Vishvaksen or Vishvas. Oh, interesting. Sometimes it's written Vishvaksen and sometimes it's written Vishvaksen. So Vishvaksen is a four-armed associate of Lord Vishnu who holds the Lord's garlands. Interesting. In the Hari Bhakti Vilas 8:84-87, it is stated, thereafter, a sober person should offer 100th portion of the Lord's prasad to Vishvaksen. And in the Srimad Bhagavatam 11:27-29, verses 29 and 43, it is stated, with offerings such as Prokshan, one should worship Durga, Vinayaka, Vyasa, Vishvaksena, the spiritual masters, and the various demigods. All these personalities should be in their proper places, facing the deity of the Lord. Once again, he should offer the deity water for washing his mouth, and he should give the remnants of the Lord's food to Vishvaksen. In his Bhavartha Dipika commentary on the quoted half of the later verse, Sridhar Swamipad has stated, one should meditate that the Lord has finished eating and then offer him water for washing his hands and mouth. Thereafter, one should offer remnants of the Lord's foodstuffs to Vishvaksen, and after taking his permission, one may then eat. This is a scriptural injunction. Sammukhe voshila shachi jagater mata gharer bhitore deke Lakshmi Pativrata. Shachi, the mother of the universe, sat before the Lord, and the most chaste Vishnupriya watched from within the next room. Mai bole aji bap ki punti porila, kahar sahita kiba kandalo korila. Mother Shachi asked, my dear son, what books did you study today? Did you quarrel with anyone? Prabhu bole aji pori laya Kṛṣṇa nam, satya Kṛṣṇa charana kamala guna dham. Satya Kṛṣṇa nam guna shravana kirtan, Satya Kṛṣṇa Chandrer Sevaka J. Jan. The Lord replied, "Today I read about the names of Kṛṣṇa. The lotus feet of Kṛṣṇa are in fact the reservoirs of transcendental qualities. Hearing and chanting about the qualities and names of Kṛṣṇa is the truth. And the servants of Kṛṣṇa Chandra are also Kṛṣṇa Chandra are also the truth." Gaudiya Bhashya. In answer to Shachi Devi's inquiry, the Lord said, "The lotus feet of Kṛṣṇa are alone the original shelter or source of all transcendental qualities. They are eternal, pure, primeval objects. The eternal occupational duty of all controlled living entities is to hear and chant about the Lord's transcendental names, forms, qualities, associates, and pastimes, which are completely non-different from the person indicated by those names." Yeah. So these names, forms, qualities, and associates and pastimes, they are completely non-different from the person indicated by those names, possessing those forms, exhibiting those qualities, and accompanied by those associates and performing those pastimes. Completely non-different. It's not only Nam and Nami are non-different, but Guna and Guni are also non-different. And, all the different things are non-different from Kṛṣṇa. Rupa and Rupi, I guess? I don't know. Those devotees who hear and chant Kṛṣṇa's names, forms, qualities, associates, and pastimes are the eternal truth. Śrī Śāstra Satya Kṛṣṇa Bhakti ko he jai, Anyatha hoile śāstra pashandatva pai. The literatures that glorify devotional service to Kṛṣṇa are true scriptures. Others are simply atheistic. Kishore Krishna just said, "Nam Vigraha Swarup Tin Ek Rup." Great. Gaudiya Bhashya. Okay, so the literatures that glorify devotional service to Kṛṣṇa are true scriptures. Others are simply atheistic. Okay, Gaudiya Bhashya. Those spiritual scriptures that dissipate the darkness of ignorance and glorify the devotional service of Kṛṣṇa are true and they are the true and they establish supreme religious principles. If any literature does not glorify topics related to Kṛṣṇa's names, forms, qualities, associates, and pastimes, if it does not describe topmost glories and eternal position of Kṛṣṇa's devotees, and does not describe devotional service to Kṛṣṇa as the topmost process for attaining the goal of life, then, instead of calling it a scripture, it should be known as the useless babbling of atheists. One should never study such scriptures, understanding them as bad association. In his commentary, Sri Madhvacharya quotes the following verses from the Skanda Puran. Regyaju samatarvascha bharatang pancharatrakam mula ramayanam chaiva shastram ityabhidhiyate yachchanu kulametasya tachcha shastram prakirtitam Atonya granta vistaro naiva shastram kuvatmatat. The Rig, Yajur, Sama, and Atharva Vedas, as well as the Mahabharata and the Narad Pancharatra and the Ramayana, are certainly known as Shastra. Those books that favorably follow in the footsteps of these authorized scriptures are also counted among the Shastras. All other literatures simply lead one down the wrong path and can never be known as scriptures. The following verses from the Matsya Purana are quoted in the Tattva Sandarbha. Satvikeshu chakalpeshu mahatmyam adikam hare rajasheshu cha mahatmyam adhikam brahmano vidu. Tadvad agnischa mahatmyam tamasasheshu shivasya cha sankirtaneshu sarasvatya pitrinangcha nigadyate. Sorry guys. The Puranas in the mode of goodness glorify the Supreme Lord Śrī Krishna. Those in the mode of passion promotes the glories of Lord Brahma, the creator of the universe. And those in the mode of ignorance celebrates the greatness of Agni, Shiva, and Durga. In addition, many other scriptures consisting of the various mixtures of goodness, passion, and ignorance glorify the ancestors. They glorify the ancestors, the demigods, and demigoddesses like Saraswati. Many ignorant, ass-like people who desire neither their own nor others' welfare think that since literatures glorifying Krishna and the devotees of Krishna and the devotional service of Krishna are critical of materially motivated persons attached to sense gratification, so then such literatures are therefore ever conflicting and sectarian like their own literatures. But on the pretext of describing the glories of Krishna, the devotees of Krishna and devotional service of Krishna to his own mother, Sri Gaurasundar explains the supreme truth in order to deliver the foolish, sensual, knowledge-dependent persons from their defective imaginations. Narrations of the glories of Krishna, the devotees of Krishna, and the devotional service of Krishna by spiritual literatures that dissipate the darkness of ignorance are not sectarian, ever conflicting interpretations. Rather, they are the only supreme auspicious conclusions for all living entities who desire the topmost good fortune. The hellish, narrow-minded people who are attached to material conceptions think that even Krishna, who is the source of Vishnu and the Lord of Lords, is an eternal rival to the demigods, or the worshipable lord of a bigoted sect. But if one gives up the bad association of studying Gyan Shastras, which are based on impersonal considerations, and Karma Shastras, which are full of interpretations, flowery language, and injunctions for worshipping many gods, someone gives these both up and instead engages in the study of the Ekayan Shastras, which direct one to the devotional service of Krishna, then he will certainly receive the opportunity to achieve the ultimate perfection of life. Oh, we were reading up to 195. I think I can continue reading though. It's 8:19. Yeah, it'd be nice to finish this point that. Yasmin shastre purane va hari bhaktir nadrishyate shrotavyam naiva tat shastram yadi brahma swayam vadet. One should never hear a scripture or Purana that does not prominently describe the devotional service of Hari, even if it is recited by the four-headed Lord Brahma. Chandala chandala nahe jadi Krishna bole, vipra vipra nahe jadi asat pate chale. A Chandal is not a Chandal if he chants the name of Krishna, and a Brahmana is not a Brahmana if he engages in sinful activities. Gaudiya Bhashya. This is a long Gaudiya Bhashya. Even if a devotee of Krishna is born in the family of dog-eaters, he is actually the topmost Brahmana, and according to Shastra, an atheist who is sinful and devoid of devotion of Krishna, though born in a Brahmin family, is certainly a dog-eater. Is a Chandal. Seeing either of them according to ordinary caste consideration is prohibited. Their varna should be ascertained according to their taste, occupation, and nature or symptoms. This is the intention and conclusion of all scriptures, beginning with the Shrutis, Smritis, Puranas, Itihasas, and Pancharatras. In his commentary on the Chandogya Upanishad, Śrī Madhvacharya quotes from the Sama Samhitas as follows. Arjavam brahmane shakshad shudro narjavasan samlak. I don't know why. I'm starting to get tired. Shudro narjava lakshana Gautamas tviti vigyaya satvak satyakamum upanayat. A Brahmana possesses the quality of simplicity, and a Shudra possesses the quality of crookedness. Knowing this fact, Gautama awarded the sacred thread initiation to Satyakam and made him a first-class Brahmana. In the Brahma Sutra 1.3.34, it is stated, Shug asya tad anadara shavanat tad adravanat shuchyate hi. Potrayan was addressed as a Shudra because he had approached Raikva while overwhelmed with sorrow, and he approached Raikva while overwhelmed with sorrow after hearing disrespectful words spoken about himself. Śrī Purnapragya Madhvacharya has stated in his commentary on this sutra, Naso potrayana shudra shuchad dravanam eva hi shudatvam. King Potrayan was not a Shudra at birth, but because he was lamenting, he was considered a Shudra. In other words, one who is affected by lamentation is called a Shudra. In the Padma Puran it is stated, Raja Potrayana Shokach Chudreti Muninodita Prana Vidyam Avapyasmat Param Dharmam Avaptavan. King Potrayan was a Kshatriya, yet because of his lamentation, Raikva Muni called him a Shudra. Later, the king attains the goal of life after learning confidential meditation on Pran from Raikva. In the Mahabharata, Vanaparva 180.26, it is stated, Yatraital lakshate sarpa vrittam sa brahmana smrita Yatraitan na bhavet sarpa tang shudram iti nirdishet. O snake, only a person endowed with the characteristics of a Brahman can be called a Brahmana. Otherwise, he is a Shudra. In his commentary on Mahabharata Vanaparva 180, verses 23 to 26, Śrī Nilakanta has written, in the same way, if a Shudra has qualities like truthfulness, then he is a Brahmana. The symptoms of a Shudra, such as lust, are not present in a Brahmana, and the symptoms of a Brahmana, such as peacefulness, are not present in a Shudra. If someone born as a Shudra has qualities like peacefulness, then he is a Brahmana. And if someone born as a Brahmana has qualities like lust, then he is a Shudra. There is no doubt about it. In the Mahabharata Shanti Parva 189.8, it is stated, Shudre chaitar bhavel lakshyam dvije tachcha navidyate na vaishudro bhavet shudro brahmano nacha. If the symptoms of a Brahmana are found in a Shudra, and if the symptoms of a Shudra are found in a Brahmana, then the Shudra should not be called a Shudra, and the Brahmana should not be called a Brahmana. In the Mahabharata Vanaparva 2.15, verses 13 to 15, it is stated, Brahmana pataniyeshu vartamano vikarmasu dambiko dushkrita pragya shudrena sadrisho bhavet yastu shudro dame satye dharme cha satato tita tang brahmanam aham manye vrittena hi bhavet dvija. After all, a Brahman who is proud and engaged in various sinful activities that result in his falling down into the degradation of being contaminated by impure karma is equal to a Shudra. And I consider a Shudra who is self-controlled, truthful, and always enthusiastic about executing his religious duties, I consider that Shudra to be a Brahmana. Indeed, the only criteria for being a Brahmana is to possess pure behavior in the form of worshipping Hari. Wow, that's very direct and clear from Mahabharata. In the Mahabharata Shanti Parva 188.13 and 189.7, it is stated, Hingsa nritta priya lubdha sarva karmo jivina Kṛṣṇa shocha paribrashtas te dvija shudratam gata sarva bhaksha ratir nityam sarva karma karo shuchi tyakta vedas tvanachara sa vaishudra iti smrita. When Brahmins commit violence, speak lies, become greedy, earn their livelihood by any and all means, and lose their purity by engaging in sinful activities, then they become degraded into Shudras. One who is attached to eating all kinds of foods and performing all kinds of activities, who is impure, deviant from the principles of Vedic culture, and ill-behaved, is known as a Shudra. In the Mahabharata Anushasan Parva 143, verses 50 to 51, it is stated, Na yonir napi samskaro na shrutam na cha santati karanani dvijattvasya vrittam eva tu karanam sarvoyam brahmana loke vrittena tu vidhiyate vritte stitas tu shudropi brahmanatvam niyachati. Birth, purificatory processes, study of the Vedas, and good birth are not the criterion for being a Brahmana. The only criterion is one's occupation. A person is born as a Brahmana in this world simply as a result of his nature. A Shudra situated in the occupation of a Brahmana also becomes a Brahmana. The Hari Bhakti Vilas, 10th Vilas, quotes from the Padma Purana as follows, Na Shudra Bhagavad Bhaktas Tetu Bhagavata Mata Sarvavarne Shute Shudra Ye Na Bhakta Janardane. Devotees of the Lord are never Shudras. Rather, they are all first-class Bhagavats. But if one is not a devotee of Lord Krishna, he should be considered a Shudra, even if he was born in a Brahman, Kshatriya, or Vaishya family. In the Atri Samhita 372, it is stated, Brahma tattvam na janati Brahma sutrena garbita tenaiva sachapapena viprapashur udahrita. A person born in a Brahman family who proudly advertises himself as a sanctified Brahman, but is ignorant of the absolute truth, that person, because of this sin, is called an animal. The Brihad Aranyaka Upanishad 3.9.10, in that Upanishad it is stated, Etad aksharam gargi viditva smal lokat praiti sabramana. O Gargi, one who is acquainted with that infallible truth by which one transcends death, is a Brahmana. In the Brihad Aranyaka Upanishad 4.4.21, it is stated, Tam eva dhiro vigyaya pragyam kurvita brahmana. A wise person who knows the Supreme Lord Parabrahman through the process of devotion is a Brahmana. In the Padma Puran Uttarkhanda chapter 39, it is stated, Vishnur ayam yato hyasit tasmad vaishnavam uchyate sarvesham chaivavarnanam vaishnava shrishta uchyate. One who is related to Vishnu through devotion is known as a Vaishnav. A genuine Vaishnav is superior to all the Varnas and is the best of all. In the Padma Puran Swargakanda Adi 24, it is stated, Sakrit pranami Krishnasya mattustanyam piben nahi hari pade mano yesham tebo nityam namo namaha pukkasa shwapacho vapi ye chanye mlecha jatayate no tepi vandya mahabhaga hari padaika sevaka. It's all mixed up weird. Sorry about that. One who even once completely gives up his false ego and offers obeisances to the lotus feet of Kṛṣṇa will never again drink mother's breast milk. One who keeps the holy feet of Hari within his mind is always worthy of worship. whether one is a dog-eater or a malecha. If he takes shelter of the lotus feet of Sri Hari with pure devotion and serves him with attachment, he is to be considered most fortunate and highly worshipable. It is stated in the Skanda Puran, Na me bhakta chaturvedi mar bhakta shvapacha priya tasmai deyam tato grahyam sa cha pujo yatahyaham. That's a famous verse. Even though a person is a very learned scholar of the Sanskrit Vedic literatures, he is not accepted as my devotee unless he is pure in devotional service. Even though a person is born in a family of dog-eaters, he is very dear to me if he is a pure devotee who has no motive to enjoy fruitive activities or mental speculation. Indeed, all respect should be given to him, and whatever he offers should be accepted. Such devotees are as worshipable as I am. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 3.33.7, it is stated, Aho batashva pachato gariyan yajjivagre vartate namatubhyam te pustapaste juhuvusnasurarya brahmanachur nama granantiyete. Oh, how glorious are they whose tongues are chanting your holy name! Even if born in the families of dog-eaters, such persons are worshipable. Persons who chant the holy name of your Lordship must have executed all kinds of austerities and fire sacrifices, and achieved all the good manners of the Aryans. To be chanting the holy name of your Lordship, they must have bathed at holy places of pilgrimage, studied the Vedas, and fulfilled everything required. How much longer does this go? 1 second, let me just look really quickly. Oh, it's already time to stop, so... Oh, we're at the end, so I'll just finish this. Okay. The Bhakti Sandarbha 117 quotes the following verses from the Garuda Purana. Brahmananam sahasrebhya satrayaji vishishyate satrayaji sahasrebhya sarvavedanta paraga sarvavedanta vitkotya vishnu bhakto vishishyate vaishnavanam sahasrebhya ekanteko vishishyate. It is said that out of thousands of brahmanas, one is qualified to perform sacrifices, and out of many thousands of such qualified brahmans, expert in sacrificial offerings, one learned brahman may have passed beyond all Vedic knowledge. He is considered the best among all these brahmanas, and yet, out of thousands of such brahmanas who have surpassed Vedic knowledge, one person may be a Vishnu Bhakta, and he is most famous. Out of many thousands of such Vaishnavas, one who is completely fixed in the service of Lord Kṛṣṇa is most famous. Okay, I'm just going to read this verse and then we'll finish because this is a nice ending verse. Kapiler bhave prabhu jananir sthane je kohila tai prabhu kohoye ekhane. Whatever the Lord as Kapila had previously instructed his mother, he now instructed to his mother again in the same mood. Gaudiya Bhashya. For a description of the conversation between Kapila and Devahuti, one should see the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 25, verses 7 to 44, as well as chapters 26 through 32. Okay. And now Mahaprabhu says, O mother, please hear the glories of devotional service to Kṛṣṇa. Be attached to Kṛṣṇa in all respects. O mother, the servants of Kṛṣṇa are never destroyed. Even the wheel of time is frightened by the sight of Kṛṣṇa's devotees. O mother, Kṛṣṇa's servants do not undergo the tribulations of residing in a womb, taking birth, or dying. Kṛṣṇa is the father of the entire universe, and anyone who does not respect his father is rebellious and sinful, and therefore subjected to miseries birth after birth. So we'll continue hearing these instructions. Dear mother, please hear attentively about the destination of the individual soul and the volume of distress he suffers by not worshipping Kṛṣṇa. So we're going to hear continue hearing Mahaprabhu's instructions to his mother tomorrow. Okay. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Gaur Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Kishore Prabhu?
जय सब्रिकार शेषे गुरगावरंग गन्हर्विका गिरिधरि राधा विनोद बिहरि राधा नयनाथ राधा रमन बिहरि राधा मार्ग श्री सचिनानंद गौर हरि राधा गोविनाथ जीव की जय श्री गोविंद गोविनाथ मरण मोहन जीव की जय जय नत्यालील प्रविष्णु विष्णुपार परमहंस ब्रजगचार्य वर्य स्तोत्र शिशुमान भक्ति विज्ञान भारती गोस्वामी गुरु महाराज की जय जय नत्यालील प्रविष्टं विष्णुपार परमहंस ब्रजगचार्य वर्य स्तोत्र शिशुमान भक्ति विज्ञान शल नारायण गोस्वामी महाराज पति पावन गुरुदेव की जय जय नत्यालील प्रविष्टं विष्णुपार स्तोत्र शिशुमान भक्ति बल तीर्थ गोस्वामी महाराज की जय नित्यालील प्रविष्टं विष्णुपाद स्तोत्र शिशुमान भक्तिविरान वामन गोस्वामी महाराज की जय नित्यालील प्रविष्टं विष्णुपाद स्तोत्र शिशुमान भक्तिविरान त्रिविक्रम गोस्वामी महाराज की जय नित्यालील प्रविष्टं विष्णुपाद स्तोत्र शिशुमान भक्तिविरान स्वामी महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय नित्यालील प्रविष्टं विष्णुपाद स्तोत्र शिशुमान भक्ति द्वैतमार गोस्वामी परम गुरु महाराज की जय नित्यालील प्रविष्टं विष्णुपाद स्तोत्र शिशुमान भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोस्वामी महाराज परम गुरुदेव आचार्य केशर की जय नित्यालील प्रविष्टं विष्णुपाद स्तोत्र शिशुमान जगद्गुरु श्री वृषभानाभिदैतदास शिल भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी ठाकुर प्रभुपाद की जय सा प्रकाश शिल प्रभुपाद भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर महाशय की जय नित्यालील प्रविष्टं विष्णुपाद महापरम भगवत परवार परमहंस अष्टोत्तर शिशुमान गौर किशोर दास बाबूजी महाराज की जय नित्यालील प्रविष्टं विष्णुपाद सप्तम गोस्वामी अष्टोत्तर शिशुमान सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर महाशय की जय नित्यालील प्रविष्टं विष्णुपाद वैष्णव सर्वोम अष्टोत्तर शिशुमान जगन्नाथ दास बाबूजी महाराज की जय सूर्यकुंडवासी सिद्ध शिलमधुसून दास बाबूजी महाराज की जय श्री उर्वदास उदयनाथ दास की जय गुरुविरान आचार्य शिशुमार बलिदेव विभूषण प्रभु की जय महामहोपध्याय शिरोमणि शिल विश्वनाथ चक्रवर्ती ठाकुर पार की जय शिल रसिकानंद मुरारी प्रभु की जय श्री शिल रामचंद्र कविराज की जय श्री लोचन दास ठाकुर की जय श्री नर हरीश्वर ठाकुर की जय जय शिल नरोत्तम श्रीनिवास श्यामानंद प्रभुत्राय की जय श्री श्रीमार कृष्णदास कविराज गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय इस अवतार अर्कावे शिशिल वृंदावन दास ठाकुर महाशय की जय जय श्री अष्ट कविराज वसुरजान व नित्यानंद दुर्श गोपाल श्री चौषधि महंत की जय जय श्री रूप श्री सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ शर गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय श्री स्वरूप दामोदर यमुनानंद लोकनाथ गर्भ अधि गौर परिषाद वृंद की जय नमाचार्य श्री लहरिदास ठाकुर की जय प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासरि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय शेषल ईश्वर पुरी गोस्वामी पार की जय शेषल मारविंदर पुरी गोस्वामी पार की जय श्री अंतरदेव मायापुर सिमंदेव गौद्रमदेव मध्यदेव कलिदेव ऋतुदेव जानदेव मातृद्रुमादेव रुद्रदेव मात्मक श्री नावदेव धाम की जय श्री एक चक्र धाम की जय श्री शांतिपुर धाम की जय श्री गौर चंद्र भगवान की जय श्री श्री गौर गदाधर की जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्णा गोविनाथ गोपी गोपा गौ गिर गोविदान वनात्माक श्री ब्रजमंडल धाम की जय श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड गंग सुखी आमन सखी तुलसी भक्ति देवी की जय वृषभानुनंदिनी श्रीमती राधा रानी ठाकुरानी की जय। जय श्री ललिता विशाख चित्र चंपकलत तुंग विद्य इंदुलेख रंग देवी सुदेवी अरि सखी वृंद की जय। जय श्री आनंद प्रेम मजलाल श्री रूप लमंग राघविल सुगन रति कस्तूरी कमल नयन मणि अरि मंजारी वृंद की जय। श्रीमती वृंद देवी की जय। श्री भगवती पूर्णमास योगमाय देवी की जय। श्री गोपीश्वर सर शिव महादेव की जय। राधा परन गीत धाम श्री वृंदावन की जय। जय श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा सुदर्शन चक्र नीलमाधव जीव की जय। श्री जगन्नाथपुरी पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र मंडल नीलाचल धाम की जय। सर्वा विक्रम विनाशन करे भक्त विक्रम विनाश श्री नरसिंह देव की जय। भक्तराज भक्त प्रवर श्री प्रहलाद महाराज की जय। श्री बलाद लक्ष्मी नरसिंह देव की जय। श्री चरिधाम चरि संप्रदाय चर्यचार्य की जय। श्री मध्वार मनोज विष्णु स्वामी नंबदित्य चर्यचार्य की जय। आकर मतर श्री चैतन्य मार की जय। श्री गौरीमार वृंद की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमार भगवताम भगवद गीता चैतन्य चरितामृत चैतन्य भगवत जैव धर्म आदि सर्व गौरी वैष्णव ग्रंथ वृंद की जय। त्रिभुवन मंगल श्री हरिनाम प्रभु की जय। त्रिभुवन मंगल श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन धर्म की जय। त्रिभुवन मंगल धन्य कलयुग तरक ब्रह्म श्री हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे महामंत्र की जय। श्री आनंद गिरि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्री समकट गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री चैतन्य भगवान की जय। परम सत्यम परमेश्वर पर ब्रह्मन प्रेम पुरुषोत्तम स्वयं भगवान जगन्नाथ मिश्र नंदन गौर सुंदर गराधर परनाथ श्री विश्वम्भर मिश्र श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य चंद्र महाप्रभु की जय। श्री चैतन्य भगवान की जय। श्री शील वृंदावन दास ठाकुर महाशय की जय। शील प्रभुपाद भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी ठाकुर महाशय की जय। शील प्रभुपाद गौरी वश्य की जय। जय श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ओम वृंदाय तुलसी देव्याय प्रियाय केशवस्य च कृष्ण भक्ति प्रदेवी सत्यवत्याय नमो नमः। वञ्जाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः।
Dandavat pranams, everybody. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for joining, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks for letting me go overtime these past couple of days. I really want to finish this chapter before I get to Navadvip, and it's a long chapter, so I've been reading a lot every day. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranams. Does anybody have anything they want to say before I end?
Do you know anything about what Bhakti-Sāma Saraswati Prabhupada mentioned about Satyakam and Gautama?
No. Do you, Shivas? Satyakama and Gautama. No, I don't. No.
You know anything about Vishwaksena and like
All right. Dandavat pranam. Oh, Vishwaksena and the Archa? No, that was the first time I ever heard anything about that. That was very interesting. Do you, Shivas? Vishwaksena? Yeah, Shivas said that he heard something about that. But, yeah, but I don't.
Refer to the worship of Lord Vishnu?
Yeah, but Vishwaksena, weren't we just reading that what was... Sorry, what was that?
I think he said it has 4 arms.
Yeah. But what was his service to Vishnu? He was like the one who holds the something. I was really tired when I was reading today, so I wasn't. What was that?
Flower garlands.
He was the one who holds the flower garlands, right, for Lord Vishnu. But yeah, that was the first time I ever like read anything about Vishwaksena, so I don't really know anything.
He's like in one of the Panchakas, like the Panchakas that we worship on Guru Purnima.
That's right. It's not familiar that Vishwaksena is mentioned. Yeah.
I think he's with the 4 Kumaras, and then Vishwaksena, something like that.
Okay. Yeah, very interesting.
And Gautama, Bhattarini knows something, but I think one of Bhattarini, Kṛṣṇa named someone Gautama because he said we were related. Do you know anything else about Gautama through? Well, no, but why Gautama you mentioned before? Okay, so Bhattarini says that Kṛṣṇa told her she found out that her grandson was named because of her wish, Gautama, and that her line comes from Gautama. But more details I couldn't find out. We need to be able to know. But that Srila Prabhupada's line comes from Gautama also.
Interesting.
I'm sure Gautama refers to Gautama Rishi.
Yes. And Prabhupada used to joke, say, well, you say you descended from the monkeys, I descended of the sadhus. Gautama. Yeah. So my godbrother, senior godbrother that traveled with Prabhupada was the first one in 67. And Prabhupada brought him to Gaudiya, brought him to Siddhar Maharaj and traveled with all over, helping Bhakti-Vigyan Bharati Maharaj. And he confirmed, and Achyutananda Prabhu, he's very knowledgeable, he's very studious, and he confirmed that Prabhupada was descended from Gautama Rishi.
Yeah.
Maybe I can
Srivas has
ask
mentioned.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. No, sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I was just thinking maybe next time I'll ask Achyutananda Prabhu, if he knows more information.
Yeah, because I mean, every Gotra, right, comes from descends from like different rishis and like that, and so Srila Prabhupada is in India. But Srivas is mentioning that Sugriv is an incarnation of Vishwaksena, right? Srivas?
Oh.
Yeah.
Really?
That's
interesting.
This first I hear.
Interesting.
Holder of the garment of Lord Vishnu, and it says after we offer prasad, we should give them the remnants. Yeah. It's all in the purport. I was just feeling in Bhattacharya's real busy giri worship and actually offering our Thakurjis their breakfast.
Okay, nice.
She has the phone next to her, but not always able to pay utmost attention.
All right, so I have another I have another thing I need to go for soon, so I'm going to end now. But thank you so much for joining, everybody. Dandavat pranams, and we'll all see you all tomorrow. Very well.
Jai Radhe.
Jai Shri Radhe.
Dandavat pranams to all.